Ma'am, you have to marry this man. I'm sorry, you have to marry him. He treats you like the queen you are. What more do you need? Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic. What we're going to be starting here is a K-drama that has been getting quite a bit of buzz, I think. And it is a Netflix K-drama limited series, which is called When Life Gives You Tangerines. And this actually stars a very popular K-pop idol, IU. And so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what it's all about. Only 8 episodes, but if there's one thing I've learned is that the Koreans can tell a pretty good story in a short time if you give them enough money. So I'm looking forward to this. So let's jump right in right now. Ooh, we got a little trot to start us off. Not mad at that. I'm assuming this is modern day. Things look a little too modern right now, or at least not the 60s here, anyway. Is that a poem or just a cry for help for your family? Sounds like you just want your kids to visit you. We're so lucky. We should all hope that we are able to make it to 70 and beyond. It's a privilege. Well done with the background, like the reversal in time. One thing I love about most K-dramas is that they're great advertisements for travel in Korea. A lot of beautiful places there, a lot of nature that hasn't been disrupted. Her mom's a diver? Pearl diver? I think she heard you. She said I got some more to do, actually. Can y'all leave them alone, please? Listen, when you get older, you understand. Sometimes you just gotta poke fun at people. Oh! Why are you yelling at the boy for getting sunburned? Really? Damn, she hard. I don't think she's doing too well. Is she hypothermic? Why is she shaking so much? Okay. Oh? They both have points, unfortunately. New husband. Ah, that's why we're so angry. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Damn. Listen, them gossip circles with the girls are the worst. Petty. Petty. I mean, honestly, you both are fighting with each other, so... Exactly. Why do you mess with somebody who lives out of spite? Wow. That was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. But yes, obviously mom is not happy and she is taking it out on everybody. But I understand that in Korea, being single it still is something that unfortunately is looked down upon, particularly if you have kids. She just wants your attention, Mom. They're just switching thumbs. Oh, geez, she's been busy. Yeah, she wants to be with her mom, which makes sense. And apparently, no. This is rough. Go earn your own love and go find your own food. Damn, and here comes the stepdad. Doesn't look like the stepdad's a problem. I know the mom thinks she's doing it for her benefit, but she really isn't. Like, I mean, her daughter wants to be with her. She looks like she's willing to put up with all the things to stay with them, but...
호정만 거기 둬서 뭐 하냐고. 피차 생병만 하려는 거지, 응?
그 집 구석 돈 있어. 거기 붙어 있으면 공부라도 다 마치지.
Okay, so she thinks she'll have a better life there.
네 딸이라도 그 소리를 해? 네 딸이라도 물질시켜!
How did you guys have 2 kids?
아, 구기긴 왜 구겨? 부정하느냐는 걸 구겨? 부정하는 구겨?
She's so rough around the edges. Jeez. That's all your daughter wanted you to do, is just show her that you cared. That's it. What? Why is he giving him fish?
하나는 덤이래요.
네 엄마가
Doesn't want to lie.
식구가 6인데 왜 맨날 5개만 사시니까?
Let him know.
배를 오지랖은
Is he nosy or is he observant? Oh, the mother. Oh, she walked all the way over.
얘다! 서방님 큰 성! 구천에서 피눈물 내요!
남의 집
Shame
장남
her.
잡아먹은
Shame her.
우리 성을 우는하고
You want a mad woman? You're gonna get a mad woman.
명도 짧은 애비 준 걸 애한테 미안해 나와서
Ooh, she said, I'm fighting with everybody. I'm squaring up on everybody. That's what your daughter wanted.
설거지는 우라지.
Woo!
아니 저게
She is
진짜
spicy. You better watch. She'll set your whole house on fire right now. I would not mess with her. She really will burn everything down.
조구덕이 엄마 집 가 살고.
넌 내가
That's one way to look
좋으냐?
at it. She loves you, bro. Abrasive as you are.
내가 뭐가 좋아?
Because you're her
엄마니까.
mom.
헐.
We don't need a reason. What's it say?
호루룩 들어가면 빨리나 나오지. 어째 까무룩 소식이 없소. 고놈의 개 전복.
She's been watching you. Her husband like, told you. She's like, anyway. She's dramatic, man, but you married her knowing how dramatic she is.
나 물질 좀 안 나가게.
She just
나도
licked her.
쟁일.
Ugh.
별로야?
그걸 부장원을 줘.
Deserve first place.
장원을 줘야지.
Period. See, she's just a little bristly on the outside. She's got a soft inside when you crack that shell.
구박하면 너 내쫓지 내 새끼 안 내쫓는다.
Let him know.
자식 복은 있으려나 보네.
Damn, not this man calling himself worthless. Jeez Louise.
나 아버지 엄마는 빚잔치에
Oh,
첫 서방은 병수발
damn.
새 서방은 한량에
Damn.
내 속을 제일로 후벼파니 왼수지.
두고 보시게 그
She's
왼수가
the most
자네
like you,
집밥까지
that's why.
다 차려줄 왼수인데
See? Exactly.
너나 장 열심히 급장으로 모셔.
So she didn't get a position she wanted? Is that what I'm getting? Okay. Yeah, it sounds like he won fair and square. Unless somehow he rigged the votes.
너무 네 입장만 있는 거 아니냐?
그래도 제가 37표.
Oh, she won? Okay, I'm sorry, I misread that. So she actually won by count.
그래도 제가 37표인데요?
It's not a fair world, sweetheart. Sorry, that's your first hard
얻어먹긴
lesson.
얻어먹고 뽑기는 안 뽑은 37명도 부도덕하지 마라.
Oh, unethical. Okay.
모양 빠지지만 네 발로 내려오면 하야요 하야. 대의를 위해 양보해.
Sacrifice for the greater what? The one who loses win. How is that man a teacher? Damn, she does not let things go, huh? And it's a hard one because she's right. It's unfair. She should have won. But unfortunately, this is a life lesson that you don't always get what you want. And in this world, sadly, people with money and privilege often get what they don't deserve. But I think it would have been better if both the mother and the teacher had at least explained that to her, as much as it's not fun.
내가 모레까지 이번 다 갈아줄게. 한 며칠. 동서다 몰라?
She
나
probably just
소문나
sell it.
나.
So she wants the necklace so she can sell it? Is that what I'm getting? Or she wants to give it as a gift? Oh my god, that's a massive field, sweetheart. Do you really want to put yourself through that? Okay, she just wanted it for the look. I was like, because pawning it would be a bit much, if you even could hear. Oh, she wants to look like a proper mom for her daughter. She is a proper mom, but you know what I mean, like by their standards.
충성 오라지네.
No way he
이걸
drew
애가
that.
했다고?
No way he
이게
drew, no way.
숙제야?
That is, thank you. He doesn't even have the fine motor skills to do that yet.
혹시 애순이 작은
He's like, I knew immediately who you are. Just from that attitude. Why did she say aunt? Interesting. Maybe just for her sake?
애순이 엄마예요.
Okay, truth.
애들하고 드시라고 떡이나 좀 해와봤습니다.
Yeah, since you take class bribes.
순전히 괜히는 아니고요.
Yeah, apparently I do. That's how you get to win an election properly.
잘 봐주고 자시고가 있나요? 지사랑 지가 받는 거죠.
Oh, really? Do you say the same thing to the general?
발이나 뜨시시라고.
아유 뭘 또
Ooh,
내놓으세요?
fresh socks.
다이로.
Nylon. That was big stuff in the 60s. Oh, she's trying so hard. This is not her nature at all. She's like, really? I want to box you in your face, but that probably will get my kid kicked out of school.
예의는 있네.
With my there it
아,
is.
사람 불편해.
Oh, is it? This is now making you uncomfortable? After you've been taking bribes from the general's family?
엄마가 가난하지. 네가 가난한 거 아니야. 너는 부지게 살아.
That's such a different thing, right? Like, so many people on this side of the world are like, you're not rich, I am. And look at the difference here where she's like, you're not poor, I am. Right?
나 최고 1번으로 진주 목걸이 해준다잖아. 그거는 잡아야지.
She's gonna try.
아까 뉴스도 보니까 대한민국 평균 수명이 52이라대.
Damn.
난 더 살
You've
거야.
come a long way.
환갑 출신에 호강 요강 다 할 거야.
I hope so.
웃어 죽지. 웃어 죽어.
I hope so. Oh,
나는
threw away his
담배를 안 끊었는데.
cigarettes too. She's like, listen, you smoke. We all smoking if you smoking. So we all quitting. Although you're gonna make him very, very irritable. That withdrawal's no joke. But sadly, it looks like Mom is back to losing all of that verve she had just the last year.
저 검은 옷 입으니까 너 기다리고 서 있은 거. 너물에 들면 저기 섰는 저승사자.
Oh, I was like, oh, you're seeing something we're not seeing? Okay. So she's sick.
어차피 잡녀 목숨 야바이고 시퍼런 물속에서
Oh, God, the
죽을
baby.
꼴이 골백번이요.
A baby. Oh.
돈 보러 와. 이승자식 쌀뚝 채워 놀랍니다.
So angry. Oh.
왼수. 저 왼수를 괜히 데려왔지.
Yep, she's deciding you're not gonna dive anymore. She made that choice for you. You think she wants to live without her mom? It is a very rough place to be because the mom has a responsibility since the man she married is doing nothing. But at the same time, your kids need you.
월백이냐? 내가 월백이냐?
No, but you need food and money. And I really hate that in so many societies, they make it that if you just need help, they make it seem like you're somehow begging. Like you tell that ocean off. But everyone needs help from time to time. The way he's just kind of tentatively coming with his bag. He's sweet.
버버리냐? 소중한 귀신 셨다. 뭔 놈에게
What would he say that's
짓거리질
not
않아?
going to get his head bitten off right now?
가? 와!
Right? He's like, is it okay? Are you going to throw me into the ocean? I've seen your mom.
물고기 아니라 육고기.
Ooh,
네 발 달린 고기는 장인 장모도 안 준다.
it's true.
어디 돼 떨어졌지?
He's just smitten.
울면 배꺼져. 내가 사람 불쌍해서 자꾸 먹여대?
Maybe he does pity you.
내가 오빠야.
Period. Mind your manners.
그런다고 시집가나. 누가 오라대?
But you want to.
나랑 어디 좀 같이 가요. 나 무서워 그래.
Go on your own where?
내 도끼가 아니라 금도끼가 나온 기분인데?
네 엄마는 새도끼냐?
Damn. I don't think she meant it that way, but
네 조동이에 들어가면 천안 같아.
this feels like a goodbye.
나 죽었어 해. 여기다 염시들 식모되지 말고
Damn.
이 집 나가. 꼭 약속해.
It's a lot of weight to put on her.
안 한다니까 왜 계속 말해?
Because unfortunately, I think she knows that she doesn't have a lot of time left.
그러려면 나는 왜 나왔어?
Damn. Okay, well, sweetheart, we don't give birth thinking we're gonna die.
어차피 사람 다 결국 고아로 살아.
Damn. Truth, though. Well, most of us.
언제 다 끝나.
Time goes by too fast.
엄마 유언을 듣는 작년 아이가 10살이었다.
10. Damn.
어서
At least this is a warm memory.
어서 자라.
I think it'd be a lot worse if she goes in a slower way. I wonder what the significance is of wrapping her fingers.
이제와 돌아 나네.
Tis sad.
29이었다.
29, Jesus. Damn, it showed that those 29, those were hard years. He's so sweet.
벌써 엄마 보고 싶어. 엄마.
It'll get better. Eventually. Kudos to him, too, for just sitting and crying with her. Sometimes that's all you need.
못 살아, 못 살아.
Stop
건강생활
licking. I'm
각시하자.
sorry. That just took me right out of the mood. Oh, I hate that. Saliva is not a washing tool. Please.
나 식모 안 해요. 엄마가 그렇게 살지 말랬어요.
She made a promise.
근데 이밭은 계속 이렇게 썩히는 거예요? 멀쩡한 땅을 왜 괜히 놀려?
Period. Period. How about you actually work for once, sir? Lived off of your wife's back for how long? Oh, he's coming to help her. Ma'am, I think you do have to marry him when you get older. Sorry.
순남이 국민학교만 다 가면.
Oh, just until he starts elementary school. Yeah, that man is... Anyways, your mom did say the man's a deadbeat.
네 집 망했지? 어떻게 생선을 맨날 담아?
How does he always have extra fish, ma'am? Do you ever think he maybe just makes sure he gets them for you? His parents be wondering every day how they pay for 10 fish and only get 6. Oh, and he got you a present. Okay, glad you wore it.
하면 살구멍이 보인다니까.
If it hasn't worked up until now, sir.
문과까지 옷간에만 쫙 깔아드릴게. 응?
How? How? When have you laid down a single cent, sir?
준 아버지급 아니냐고. 어? 준 아버지가 돈 벌어서 그놈이 대학 보내준다니까.
How about you do it and actually stop talking about it? How about that?
육지대학으로.
순남이 순봉이 걸고?
Oh, swearing your kids.
아 정광래를 걸고.
Who's that? Oh, and your what? Why didn't you want to swear on your kids, though? The ones that are still living. I'm sorry, my girl, but you're going to have to do it yourself. That's what your mom was trying to tell you, that man she married ain't nothing. She married him just for some respectability, but useless. Lord, I'm so thankful we were born in an age now where women don't have to do that, where she would have been able to potentially take better care of herself and her children, not be married to a man that was just dead weight.
오늘 다 양배추 사게.
그니까요. 양배추 드려요?
Oh.
얘네 양배추 달아요.
Still helping you out.
해녀 직송. 없어.
The fact that he's doing her business for her.
옆에 무쇠 하나 붙듯인데.
She does. I need her to fight for herself a bit, though, but I don't blame her. She's been doing so much hard labor. Girl just wants to learn. Ma'am, you have to marry this man. I'm sorry, you have to marry him. He treats you like the queen you are. What more do you need?
양배추 드려요?
애순이 양배추는 관식이가 다 팔아.
Right? And she just be sitting there, but...
속에 대해 엄중 단속을 하자 소리가 나올 지경입니다. 언제는 짧게
Oh,
입으라더니
a cushion.
양배추 달아요. 그 짝에 있는 건 다 달아요.
The time passes. But he cute, though.
배나가나 깍자고만 드시니까 나름대로 경종을 때리고자.
누가 배추 사다 경종 때려 맞고 싶댄?
Woman said I came for food. Respectfully.
한 통 주라고 한 통.
Pretty privilege does work.
지가 좋아서 하는 거예요.
얘는 나 안 시켜.
He said don't come from my girlfriend.
할망 무서운 볼일 볼까?
They all have the granny perm. Oh God. That woman has the energy of your mama. My cabbages! If you know, you know.
응? 절망군 세례받아야 돼.
Damn. She said exercise. Oh! And you're still giving sauce, ma'am, when you're running away? But in fairness, your grandson is the one who's stalking her, man. She's tried to make him go away multiple times. She be pushing that boy away. Wow, that transition, though. Give it up to the editors of this show.
노빠꾸에 그들이 있었다.
Oh, I noticed the string of pearls. All right, that is it for episode 1. And yeah, that was a very interesting start. We definitely got an idea of what life is like for a son. It is not an easy existence she grew up into. We see that she had a very hardworking mother who had a really good heart, but she'd become bitter and hardened because she'd had a very hard life from the sounds of things. This is set back in 60, and much like it was in many parts of the world, women did not have a lot of agency back then. You had to be married. Getting married was all you were pushed to do, and if you were fortunate, you married somebody who was pretty well off, or at least able to support themselves, and that was the way you were able to kind of get through. But if you were not as fortunate, you might have ended up with someone who was poor, or someone who squandered the money that they had, and that would equal a pretty hard life for you. And in the case of Asan's mom, we discovered that her husband unfortunately was not in the best of health to begin with, it sounds like, and while they were able to have a child together, it looks like from there that's pretty much where it all ended. His life ended very soon, when Asan was just a little girl. And as I said, in Korean society, especially back then, but even somewhat today, being a single parent is looked down upon, which is terrible because, in this case, she was a widow. It's not like she was divorced or anything, which again, shouldn't even carry a stigma, but all the same, in their society, being a single parent was very heavily frowned upon, and it would make for a lot of social isolation. So in order, I think, for her to, first of all, find a way to support herself, but also in a way to hopefully shield her child, she got remarried. But unfortunately, the man that she married was not a man that was any help to her, right? And sadly, probably the reason why her mother ended up with that man was because he looked at her as a single mother and figured, like, you're lucky to have me. And as much as I hate saying that because it's not true, that is the belief system, unfortunately, in a lot of these societies, is that if you're a single parent and someone chooses to marry you, a man chooses to marry you, you're lucky that you even have a husband. But unfortunately, as we see, he was not a helpful husband. He gave her 2 more kids and that was it, right? He didn't help her financially. He didn't make any money. And when he realized that Asan's mom was someone who was willing to do whatever it took to take care of her children, that's when he basically laid back and let her do all that hard labor. And so yeah, we were introduced to Asan's mom pretty roughly, right? She seemed to be very prickly, very angry, very venomous towards these women. And I've watched other Korean shows that talk about the Hanryos, the women who are the divers. And first of all, very hard work and very skillful work when you think about the fact these women were free diving for clams and all types of shellfish and things like that. But anyway, I love that they were showing kind of 2 sides of the argument, right? We saw that these Hanryos were basically letting her know that, listen, like, we all help each other out. This is a tight-knit community because there's not a ton of us, and we take care of each other. But we see that Asan's mom was so sick and tired of taking care of people because she'd gone from taking care of her husband to taking care of kids to taking care of her second husband. And now we see that, in the beginning of the show, that the Henryos were helping out an old lady who had inherited her grandchildren. And she was apparently, I'm thinking, too old to work for herself at this point. So they were donating a portion of what they caught to help her feed these children. And it made Asan's mom kind of seem a bit cold-hearted, that she was like, nah, I don't want to share my portion. But she had 3 kids of her own and a husband and herself, and she was trying to do her best to support all of that. And she kind of felt like, that is the sad mentality, unfortunately. People who are typically quite poor, is that, when you're poor, you don't typically have a generous heart. And it's not because you don't want to be generous, but it's that scarcity mindset takes hold, it locks in, and it's very hard to see how giving and benefiting others is a good thing. But then we saw that one of the ladies who was part of the group said, but you realize that if something happens to you, that we'll take care of you. Like, it's not just us. We're not just giving away our stuff. Like, we're not unaware of the fact that we're all going through hard times here. But if we all chip in when each other needs it, then none of us will really be in dire straits, right? So they were saying that even in the beginning, we recognized that Asan's mother was sick, and they were like, you're doing too much. You're pushing yourself too hard when your health is not good. But, one thing that Asan's mother had in spades, it was pride, right? She did not want to beg. She did not want to feel like she was a charity case to anybody. But as I said in the episode, it's very sad that there's this mentality that you are a beggar because you need help, and that's just not true, right? There's a difference between Asun's stepfather, who genuinely did not want to do anything and expected handouts, versus Asun's mom that was working hard, but her health just didn't permit her to do as much as she wanted to do, and she would need just help, right? Just a little assistance can be all that you need to just kind of get your footing so you can do better. But anyway, very interesting introduction to Asun's mother, and understandable why Asun has become such a bold and very firm in who she is kind of person, right? She definitely saw that in her mother and she respected it. And I just thought like they did a good job of bringing out a lot of tender moments, you know, around Asun just wanting to be with her mom, like recognizing that life was going to be harder living with her mother, but she didn't care because she just wanted to be with her. Like she'd lost her dad so early and now this was all she had left. And so just seeing the fact that she knew her mother worked hard, she knew her mother was sick, she knew her mother was doing that all despite everything, and the fact that that's what touched her mom's heart. Like I really like that part in the episode where her mother said, you know, she's my little rascal because she's the only one who isn't trying to leech off of me. She's the only one who's not trying to use me for what I can do for them, right? And she talks about how her life had basically been in service up until that point, and that the one child, the one person in her life that isn't trying to use her for labor is her daughter. In fact, she wants to alleviate that from her mother and let her have a good life. And so anyway, just kind of, you know, sweet the way that that's the way that this little girl kind of weaved her way into her mother's heart in that special place, is because she really did see her mom when a lot of people just kind of looked past her and just kind of looked at what she could do or looked at where she was lacking. And so anyway, we see that unfortunately, you know, I think one of the hardest parts of this episode was seeing how her mother was so inspired by Asun's determination, by the fact that she was this bright, smart, just, you know, radiant girl despite everything. And we see how the mother was really like determined. Like she was like, yeah, you know what, if Asun wants to work hard to get me out of this, then I'm gonna work hard to get her through school so that she can achieve those goals. Like, you know, the way she really wanted to reciprocate that energy Asun was giving her. And then they showed how the year went by, and despite the fact that her mom did all kinds of things, like going to the school to try to get her daughter a better treatment at school, which I think worked to a degree, right? That teacher seemed to be moved by the mother's determination. But the fact that she had all these good intentions, right? Quitting smoking, you know, doing what she could to take better care of herself so she could be on this journey with her daughter, and even saying like, I'm gonna live to be 60 or 70 years old, you'll see. And unfortunately, as the year went on, her health didn't improve, right? She still had to work hard. Her husband did nothing to alleviate the amount of work that she had to do. And I mean, they didn't really give a name to what took her mother out, but I'm thinking it's probably cancer. Like they were talking about the fact that she smelled like blood, she was coughing up blood, her breathing was bad. She was a smoker, you know, that combined with the fact that she was just overworked as well, I think it probably was cancer. And, you know, unfortunately, if things don't change when you have a disease like that, it doesn't get better. So unfortunately, it got worse. And we see that despite everything, her mom kind of got to a point where she resigned herself to realizing that a long life was not in her future. But that beautiful moment where she talks to Asun and basically says, I don't want you to give up, just because I effectively, and I don't want to use the term give up because her mom didn't really give up. I mean, if you're sick, you're sick, but she did kind of resign. You know, she kind of got to a point where she was like, I know I'm not getting better, I'm tired, and so I'm just going to allow myself to rest. And she didn't want that for her daughter, though. She had that beautiful moment where she went to her mother-in-law, her former mother-in-law, and basically said, hey, basically keep an eye out for my kids, please, or at least your kid, your grandkid. And she went and she made Asun this beautiful meal and spent some one-on-one time with her, and basically just said, look, I know I'm not going to be here much longer, so I want you to hear me. I want you to take my wishes with you. You know, basically her wishes for her to do more than have a hard life like her mother had, and to not allow this world to kind of pull her into a life of service like her mother had ended up in, right? She wanted better for her daughter, basically. She wanted her to use that beautiful mind she had for poetry and writing and seeing the world the way she does. She didn't want her daughter to lose that despite the hardness of her life. And so, yeah, just a beautiful moment. Obviously, I got a bit choked up because it's sad. You know, we hear, even that part where she said that most of us leave this world as orphans, right? Because the daughter was saying like, Mom, Dad died, you died, like, don't leave me. And her mom's like, you know, I don't want to, but I was going to go before you most likely anyway. And that's just kind of the sad natural order of things. But she wanted her daughter to do better and wanted to put those beautiful dreams in front of her on her passing. And so anyway, so after that, we see that A-sun kind of, she decided to at the very least make sure that her family didn't go hungry, because we saw that her stepdad was already ready to dump the kids off and go out and basically probably find himself another person to freeload off of. But A-sun's determination to take care of her siblings and to, just basically show the work ethic she's always had, she was able to at least start the cabbage farm, which was something that her stepfather should have done while he was looking for work, which he never quite found. And doing that while also minding her siblings is crazy. But she did that, stopped going to school for a while she did it. And then eventually she got to the point where she's like, nah, actually, I'm going to go to school. Like, I made my mother a promise and I'm not going to just give up on it because my stepdad is too lazy. So I like that she finally put her foot down and made her stepdad do what he promised to do, which was start taking care of her siblings and her the way he promised. And he basically said that he would try to do that, even though really we know he's not going to, because we saw that eventually my girl had to still sell her wares at the market. But at least he was there to take care of the kids so that she could start going to school and not be stuck with, the childcare and everything else when everybody else was studying. So yeah, that was kind of where we ended up watching A-sun get to from her childhood now to what looks like her young adulthood. And she is still nose in her books as she should be, but her stand, which is selling these cabbages, which are still being maintained on her farm, we see that that's actually being run by Guanxik. Guanxik, who's been there since she was little. Guanxik, who was being teased as a young man as, being in love with A-sun, which clearly he was. From a very young age, that boy fell in love with that girl and he just couldn't help himself. He did whatever he could to help her. He did whatever he could to support her, from, basically stealing from his parents to make sure she got food, to supporting her, to being there for her silently, despite the fact that she was very rough around the edges like her mother. But he figured out, much like A-sun figured out about her mother, that A-sun is only prickly on the outside. She's very soft on the inside, very sweet on the inside. You just got to kind of get under that hard exterior and then get past those prickly bits to get to what's the sweetness that's inside. And my man has been steadfast. I think that is the best word to describe Guanxik. That is a very steadfast young man, to be there despite everything and despite seemingly not really getting much in return. He really is trying to be there for her and just be a support, and he's really getting nothing in return outside of just watching her do better. Right? Because she's giving him so minimal in return. She really isn't doing much to reciprocate the kindness and the thoughtfulness that he gives to her. But, I think he's picked up on the fact that she does allow him to be there and to do things for her. That's kind of her way of letting him know that feelings are there. Maybe she doesn't even know that they're fully there yet, but they're there. And so anyway, it's just kind of a cute story and kind of funny how the fish ladies or the diver ladies were basically saying, you need to marry him. And she's like, no, I don't want to marry him. And they're like, okay. But I'm like, ma'am, you do have to marry him. Like, that is the absolute definition of love, to have that young man by your side all these years, despite the fact that you've been consistently pushing him away. The fact that he just gently continues to be there, steadfast. That's love. That is unmovable love. That is truly unconditional love. So hopefully A-sun figures that out very quickly. I mean, I think she already is in love with him. She just doesn't want to allow herself to be, because unfortunately she has not had the strongest, the best examples of men in her life. But yeah, hopefully at some point she'll recognize that being a little bit softer towards that man is not going to be the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I think it was a solid first episode, right? I think that we just got a good idea of where A-sun's coming from and the life that she came from and what kind of has built her into this strong, formidable character that she is now. And even though we didn't get a lot of Guanxik as far as his thoughts and feelings, what we saw of him lets us know the kind of person that he is. He's quietly strong. He's as I said, steadfast is the word that just keeps coming to mind. Quietly strong, quietly persistent, and he knows what he wants, right? He doesn't say a lot, he doesn't fight back a lot, but he does stand in his own, and he does stand up for himself when necessary. So I think that's exactly the kind of counterbalance that A-sun needs for all the fire that she's got going on. But yeah, I liked it. Solid first episode. Hopefully the whole series is not quite this sad, but I think it was a solid opening. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me, and I will see you in the next one.